Hey, everybody, hold on to your silver, hold on to your tapestries, hold on to anything valuable because it's time for the Witches Movie Coven and the movie Time Bandits, the 1981 classic in my book, Time Bandits. So hide your jewelry. My name is Patti Negri. I am one of your hosts of this lovely show. Tell your friends, get online, tell them now, join us, join the live chat. Let me introduce my cohorts, or let me introduce them themselves. Richard-Lael.
That would be me. Richard-Lael is one name, not two. If I were just Richard, I would be I'm not going to say it because it's a family-friendly show. Anyway, a lot of people like that D word, and I never judge. So I am a psychic medium. I used to be a psychic small, but now I gained weight. So I'm a psychic medium. Anyway, I'm here in New Orleans. I am known as the Gentleman Psychic, and I give readings. I give them here in my home. I give them down in the French Quarter at Apothecary. Also, I teach University Magicus, and you might have seen me on Witches Movie Coven and on Scared and Alone and other various things.
Thank you, Courtney.
That's me. I'm Courtney Buckley, ghost bait on Scared and Alone. I have not one goat, but two who are hanging out behind me. Also, just for no reason at all, I'm very interested to find out tonight whose choice this movie was. And don't ask me why. It's just a question.
Okay. Well, it's a question that's going to have to wait. All right. Jason.
I'm Jason Mankey. I've written a lot of witchcraft books, and I'm super excited to be back with my beloved Coven and to talk about this movie I actually saw in a movie theater many decades ago. Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. And last and never least, Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather Greene, and I am a journalist and a acquisitions editor at Llewellyn, and I wrote the book, and I have it to hold up right here. Lights, Camera, Witchcraft, the definitive guide to witches and witchcraft in American movies and television. So that's why I'm here. They wrote me into this coven, and we've had a great time of it. And I am happy to be talking about a movie that, like Jason, brought me back to my childhood. So I think we should get going.
Yes, we should get going. So what we all have in common here is we are all witches. And what we also all have in common is that we are very opinionated about movies. This movie is 1981, as Heather was saying. I too am a psychic medium. You might know me from Here, There, and Everywhere, University Magicus, my Witching Hour podcast, but this is where we are tonight, right here at the Witches Movie Coven. So talk to us in the chat room. So now, we hope you've all seen this movie, but just in case somebody has not seen this movie, Richard-Lael, do you have an unbiased synopsis of this film?
I certainly do. So this is Time Bandits, appropriately named because it steals 10 hours of your time. I'm going to say I had to watch this film no less than 4 times to get through it. The first time I turned it on and I could not get through the opening credits. And I said, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to wrap my head around that. And then I turned it on. I paid for the rental. I turned it on and then I fell asleep. And I went, well, I guess I have to watch it again. And I rewound it and I watched it and I fell asleep. And then on the 4th time, I said, I am going to watch this movie. I am going to watch this movie. And I watched it and then I fell asleep and then I woke up and watched the end. So
something happened.
Between all of the sleeping, this is what I gather the plot is about. So I thought that it was going to be something like, I thought it might be like Baron Munchausen and a little bit of Back to the Future and maybe a little bit of Flash Gordon. And no, none of that. It is none of that. It's like Harry Potter and the 6 dwarves, and they're all called Grumpy. these 6 grumpy dwarves end up in the bedroom of this 8-year-old boy. Don't ask me why they're there, but they are there. 6 grumpy old men in the bedroom of an 8-year-old boy is not creepy at all. They run from a Time Lord, not Doctor Who, but like a Time Lord who's a great creator. They've apparently stolen a map that talks about how they can leap through time, and they end up by going through to Napoleon and stealing a 16th century French tapestry, and they steal and steal and steal and steal and steal, and then they're met by some wizards, and then the wizards try to get the map back, and they trick them by being on a game show, and then they end up, the boy is trying to save them from playing the game show, and then they slip through time again, and then his parents' house is caught on fire, and there's this evil thing lurking in the toaster, and then the parents touch it and poof, the parents are gone. End of the movie. Oh, and I forgot, the great creator gives them the map, even though he didn't give them the map. They stole it, but he gave them the map so they could have free will. I don't know. I don't understand. That's about all I got from the movie.
Okay, now that everybody is clear, I saw a different movie.
I didn't.
That happens. That actually happens sometimes.
Yeah, that sometimes actually happens. But we maybe can move on to Heather, though it's not an American movie, right? So is it not in your book? But I know you have facts.
Well, I do have some facts and some things to add to the conversation going from there. But before I do that, I would like to point out that Richard-Lael did do a Time Bandit type move when he said he rewinded the movie.
That is so true.
I'm just pointing that out. You rewinded a movie that was probably streaming. So good for you. You did it to little time thing right there.
That is true. I mean, it took me way back to Blockbuster.
Be kind. Rewind. So that used to haunt us when we were young, that thing. Make sure you rewind it. You're going to get charged 50 cents. Anyway, so this film is by Terry Gilliam. It is one of the 13 that he has directed, written more. A talented writer, a talented director, probably the one of the most innovative and imaginative minds of that period of time. Well, he's still alive, so currently probably now as well. And this one was released. It's a British film, and it is not in my book. It's not in my book for 2 reasons. There's not really a witch film at all, and we could argue whether there's a witch in it or not. That's another conversation. But there is it's not a witch film, and it's also British, so it is not in my book. However, well, there's evil. That's evil. He's the devil character, and I was gonna comment, since his picture's up, I think his hat looks very much like it's Alien, like from the movie Alien. But besides that, it was made in and amongst some of the most popular Monty Pythons. And I just took the dates down so you can see, like, Holy Grail was 75. Life of Brian was 79. This was 81. And then Meaning of Life was 83. So the Monty Python movies were still kind of going on. He's part of that segment. This movie was funded by George Harrison, a Beatle. That's a nice little fact, along with his partner on Handmade Films. It cost $5 million. It was a flop in England or Britain, all of those. It was not popular because it was billed as a Monty Python movie, and it clearly is not a Monty Python movie. And then when it came here, it was marketed as a children's movie and was very successful. And as several of us have already stated, we remember going to the theaters. I distinctly remember this being on HBO one too many times and watching it very early HBO. I even think my father recorded it, and we had it on a VHS tape, so it was shown. So this was a staple for children back in the early 80s. And it has an incredible cast. There's lots of lore about Sean Connery's appearance. Of course, they didn't think he was going to come. Then he came and he appeared. They paid for him. There were scenes cut, or there were scenes that were part of it that didn't get made because Terry Gilliam's imagination was way too big for the budget. So, just little things like this about the creation of this. It is, of course, what I would say is it's a Monty Python sketch comedy put into a much more structured story, where we talked about the original Monty Python and the Holy Grail having trouble with its story. It was just sketch comedy on sketch comedy. This kind of had it a little bit more embedded, so it was a little bit easier to follow. But with all of there is a story here. And I think that you also have what I was going to say is in amongst the comedy, in amongst the zaniness of all of the things going on, you also have the standard Terry Gilliam commentary on modern society, on government, on religion, and all that stuff is all woven into this. So that's what you're getting in this. Whether you slept through it or whether you like it or whether you don't like it, that is what this is. And it came out during a time that, and I always like to embed it with other movies at the time, when in the US, not only was it a kid's film, but it was also a time when high fantasy and this type of movie was popular. So you started, I said a couple shows ago, how Star Wars sort of started that interest in the epic fantasy style quest film. But at this period of time in the 80s, you're looking at, and I pulled up my book to remember some of the ones to bring back our memories. You're looking at lots of quest films, lots of high fantasy. Beastmaster, Troll, Dark Crystal, Conan the Barbarian, eventually Labyrinth, which has Brian Froud, which recalls this style. Dragon Slayer, Beastmaster. I could go on and on. I said Beastmaster twice. That's funny. And then Shelley Duvall with all her fairy tale stuff. This is all happening in the 80s. So this fit into what was going on at the time and what was popular. Even if it's not a witch film, it fit. There's Shelley Duvall. She's hysterical. I always thought she was funny. So that's how this movie fits in. That is where it is. That's what it is. And maybe we can talk a little bit more and alleviate the stress on the questions that have been asked already.
Yes. I loved it. Dang it.
Okay. End the show.
End the show. Every second of it, it was one of my under the covers. And I mean, I remember watching it as a youth for a long time, always high, and it works really well. But this time, not high, and I loved it from beginning of end. The commentary, everything about from computers to this, movies are to be entertaining, right? I was entertained. That's what it was. I laughed. I cried. I'm a Monty Python. I mean, it was much more understandable than typical Monty Python, but that Terry Gilliam, that everything it is. And it was so fun to see like Sean Connery being funny. And you just think how much fun they must have had filming this silly film in Morocco and wherever all they filmed it. What's not to like? I followed a plot line. I saw a plot line. They traveled through time and space with this cute little kid. I could say a lot, but I just had to throw in there. Everybody, turn off your lights because it was a good. Those are for entertainment. It was entertaining. How could you sleep? That's it.
Wow.
Wow, I think that's the first time Patti Negri has just stood up on that and said that's it, it's over. I liked it. Everyone else, turn your lights off.
That was unbridled passion from Patti, right?
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna have to call you Passionate Patty the rest of the
Passionate Patty, yes, because there's certain other ones I'm like, well, no. And 4 times through Richard-Lael, I'd have watched it 4 times through.
You're in trouble.
I just couldn't. I did like Sean Connery. I thought Sean Connery was great. I just could not. I mean, I have to admit though, when they were visiting Napoleon, I did chuckle at the fact that these 6 not 7 dwarves. These 6 dwarves understood that it was a 16th century French tapestry. I kind of had that one did make me chuckle. I have to admit that made me chuckle. I thought, okay, I would steal that too. I would go back in time and steal a 16th century tapestry from Napoleon. Yes, why not? It wouldn't be my first choice, but I would do it.
Thank you. That's it. That's all you got out of the movie. One line.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I tried. I wanted to like it. I really, really, really wanted to like it. I wanted to like it. I wanted to like it a lot. I wanted to kind of even like it.
No, you didn't.
But I hated every second of it. It was some kind of torture. It was. And then I mean, mind you, I was also on cold medicine. So maybe if I weren't high, maybe I would have enjoyed it a little bit more.
I feel like that would have made it better.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I fell asleep.
Maybe that's why you fell
That
asleep.
made it better.
Cold medicine. Cold medicine makes me fall asleep.
The falling asleep probably made it better, I think.
That is true.
Okay, go, Courtney, go.
All right, listen. Okay. So I've never seen or heard of this movie. I sat down to watch it, and at first I was like, oh, I think I ran through the gamut of all the movies that this could be like The Princess Bride with the kid in his room. First, I didn't know what the parents were doing. That was a lot. But then when he went to his room, I was reminded of The Princess Bride. Nope, obviously not. I thought, okay, like a questing movie. Okay, maybe like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And I think Monty Python and the Holy Grail had more of a plot than this movie did. I found that movie easier to follow than this one. Why were they on the Titanic? I screamed so loud. They were clinging on to a thing in the water, a la Jack and Rose before they ever existed, and they were like, I forget what he said now. I should have written it down, but I was so
That's
pumped.
your job, is to write it
I
down.
have other ones, relax, but I was like screaming. They're floating around the water. Then they're in a whirlpool. Like, please, okay, come on.
And the Titanic sank in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
James Cameron has admitted, though, that this is what inspired him to do the movie Titanic.
Well,
he said without Time Bandits, he would have never thought of it. Go on. Sorry, Courtney.
Take
what
that
are you saying?
to the grave.
It doesn't have the reality of the Killing Tree? What?
At least the Killing Tree was fun. I'm gonna hold on. I'm pulling up my notes because I'm gonna quote myself here because I didn't finish it. I finished it because my last note that I wrote down was a cacophony of noise. Had to turn it off. After an hour and 15 minutes, I determined that the Time Bandits had thieved more than enough of my time.
The movie gets worse as it goes along. The end is not. The beginning is a little better than the end. So you missed the giant with the hat probably, and the it gets more Terry Gilliam bizarre as the movie goes on.
I literally couldn't take it. I was sitting there and I'm like, what am I watching? My headache that I had was growing stronger. And I was like, my eyes cannot consume any more of this because my brain cannot process it. And I don't know I still don't know what I watched. Richard-Lael, like your plot summary made more sense to me than the movie that I watched. Like it was a lot. I do have quotes. I have a lot of them, but it was a lot. Okay. I will say I did like the evil character. I liked him.
Thank you. Jason?
I want to take you back to 1981 when this movie first came out. I was a wee lad of 8 years old, and in September of that year, I began to see advertisements in comic books for a movie called Time Bandits. Sometimes those advertisements were on like the glossy cover of the comic book. Somebody was investing a lot to get children excited about this film. And suddenly it's Thanksgiving weekend. This movie came out in the first weekend of November that year. And I'm at my grandparents' house and they were like, Jason, would you and your brother like to go see a movie? And I said, Time Bandits. And my parents drove us to the movie theater a few blocks down the street. This is when children were allowed to be feral, and dropped us off at the theater at the ages of 8 and 7 to watch Time Bandits. All I could think of while watching this movie as a child is, what the hell is this? It is not a kid's movie. It is not a kid's movie. I was completely lost in various places, and all I really remembered after I stepped out of the theater is God said something about free will. Also, Napoleon likes puppets. Fast forward 4 years later, and they're showing it at 4-H camp to children. And again, this is not a children's movie. And I just remember everyone being so bored and being so disappointed that we were being forced to watch Time Bandits while I looked to go make out with a girl from the state of West Virginia. That is my Time Bandits experience as a child. I don't hate it as much as Courtney and Richard-Lael do, but it leaves me constantly scratching my head because it is a strange movie that I do not know who it is made for.
I wonder how many
other than Patti. It's made for Patti.
It was made for Patti.
how many movies does Jason have a story about making out with a girl about? Because this is not the first one.
We need to start cataloging now.
Yeah. He's blushing.
Wow.
It's been a good life, you know. What can I say? It's been a good life.
All right. Well, we're doing good so far. Heather?
So I also saw this movie. I don't remember if I saw it in the theaters. I may have, but my memory of this movie was HBO. And back in the day, we had a VHS player and HBO. My father would record movies from HBO, and we had this big collection of VHS tapes on this shelf of all these movies he would record. And he would record movies mostly that, he enjoyed, which would be sci-fi and fantasy. So we had a ton. We had Alien and all of the Conan the Barbarian and all of those movies, old movies, new movies. And this was one of those that we had a recording of. So I know I saw it multiple times because of HBO, or maybe because my brother put it in, or maybe, but it's funny when I saw it on the schedule, I didn't have this, oh, great, nostalgia. This is going to be great. I haven't seen this one forever. I went, oh, Time Bandits. Oh, okay. Like I was hoping weird sort of like nostalgia, but and when I watched it, like I didn't go into it going, oh, I remember this, and how fun. It's almost like it was. I remember the kid's face, and he felt like, okay, I know that kid's face, and there were moments that I remembered from seeing it, but it didn't ring like, all the nostalgia bells that you have. So I'm assuming at the time, as much as I loved to watch fantasy and sci-fi as a kid, I don't think I loved this movie as a kid. I think I was like, it's weird. And it is weird. And it's Terry Gilliam weird. And what's really weird, what's even weirder is this is one of his most acclaimed films of all his films. Not his top. I think Brazil and Baron Munchausen get a little bit more acclaim than this one. Munchausen. But I love Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
That's a good
which
one.
is a Terry Gilliam film. That's a newer one. And he also did Fisher King and 12 Monkeys, which are fantastic films.
Fisher King rules.
Absolutely. Which are all that's 90s Terry Gilliam versus Monty Python, versus this early 80s stuff. And I, personally, there were moments that I thought were really brilliant and nice and funny. And, I'm not going to even say I didn't mind it. I was like, at one point I was like, I can't believe I'm watching this again.
Sometimes I see the schedule for the show, like what movies we're going to do, and I hope that I'm going to be out of town during a movie. And I missed this one by 1 week. I was so disappointed. I was hoping maybe I'd be tired today, maybe a second bout of COVID in this month, but no, I had to watch the movie today and talk about Time Bandits.
You guys are crazy.
Listen, any residue from the hex that was hexing was just lifted in that moment, because I too wondered if I could somehow catch the flu real quick before I had to come on and talk about it.
Fine, you should have catch the flu, and I'd be here telling everybody how fabulous it is. Gotta go watch it. End of story.
How often does this happen? I mean, this is amazing. Like,
Yeah, I grew up, you guys. I never missed a Monty Python. I have the cassettes of them. I know word for word. Whatever this weird, quirky British humor is, it must be me in another life, because how I can imagine not being entertained by every stupid part of this beautiful movie.
you know, the most fascinating thing is Terry Gilliam is American. He was born in Minnesota, and he went and he I think he went to school in LA, and he's not British. And so he was the only Monty Python member that was not British. I found a bunch of really cool articles on him that I kind of went down a rabbit hole with. But he renounced his American citizenship like as late as 2006, and he's gotten awards both there and here. And he is the only American born member of the Monty Python crew. And it's kind of funny he hits that British humor so well, you know?
I thought of everyone this weekend because it was April Fool's Day, and I trolled the atheist pages by pretending to be a believer, and I told them that they needed to read Ezekiel 23:20. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It deals with private parts, donkeys, and horses. I'm not going to let you can look it up. But I said, I found this verse, and it makes me so happy, and you should read it, and you can be a believer too. All of these things, right? And so people were getting on, and they were saying things like, "Oh, you're awful, you're evil, and this is stupid," and awful things. And so I said, "No, really, you should read it." And I said, "Okay, listen, folks, it was just an April Fool's joke. It was just a joke." And the man says, "Well, it was even worse than the Spanish Inquisition." And I posted the meme. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. And I thought of you, all of you. I thought of you.
I thought of this movie on April Fool's Day because I thought this was the joke.
So now we did have a question by Courtney, who thought of this movie, and sadly it wasn't me. It should have been me, but
okay, Patti.
Was it you? Was this one? Was this one of the ones you put on your list, Patti?
No, it wasn't. No,
it was Rob.
I know.
It was
Rob.
Oh no!
I didn't want to call him out, but yeah, this is Rob.
Does it even have a witch in it? Does it have a witch in it? I don't think that it does.
No.
Rob's gonna have to deal with the witch after this, so.
I think the closest we get is we have obviously the magic from Evil, who I know Courtney thought was a great character, but I did not like him at all, even though he had the alien on his head. I mean, I was waiting for the thing to start walking, just like in the Alien movie. But then you had the character played by, gosh, what's her name? With the red hair, who is in
Catherine,
who's the boss?
Mona,
grandmother and Who's the Boss.
Mona is the name on Who's the Boss. I know her name. And Hellman. And
Catherine Hellman. Catherine
Hellman, yes. She's lovely, and she was the closest we get. And I thought, when she came on the screen, I said, okay, here's our witch character. But then she's just cooking humans and hanging feet. She's not called a witch. She's not really a witch. So yeah. So there's no witch in this one. A little bit of evil's magic and God's magic, but there's no witch in this one, in my opinion.
Well, no, and like our producer's like, no, Jason, you can't do Talladega Nights because there's no witchcraft in it. But we can do Time Bandits.
He's the producer.
It's about what I would expect from a Dodgers fan. Let me tell you.
Okay.
And what he just wrote on the thing, it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy meets Wizard of Oz, and it's both good movie.
And somewhere Heather died a little bit inside, comparing this at all to Wizard of Oz.
Well, I screamed that when that horrifying head for no reason came out of the wardrobe like Narnia.
And then you like the head and you like a tree.
Then there's
because
Narnia.
the tree is original and this was not. And it was Wizard, and I was like, what is this, the Wizard of Oz? Because now I've already gone through like 6 other movies that this could possibly be. And then there was the Wizard of Oz chasing them down the hallway. Like, please, okay, I can't. And then they're like, oh, the trees are on fire. No, the head is appearing. And it was just so much. It was so much.
Well, it from what I understand from that one article I read is that he was trying to make, I think it was, he was working on Brazil and it wasn't going anywhere because the producers were not happy with it. And he was struggling. So he needed to come up with something to be able to produce, to make money, to make a movie. So he started jotting stuff down, and that's how this came out. It was kind of like, I need to do something quick, let me write this down. And then eventually I guess they picked this one up before they finished Brazil, which I think, let me see, Brazil was 1985. So so this was sort of an in-between, trying to recuperate their time, money, whatever the case was. And so, but this wound up doing super well in the US because of what Jason said. They marketed it to kids. The ending is not kid friendly. It's a little on the dark side.
No, it's barely I'm a 50-year-old adult friendly at this point, right? I mean, that's one of the worst endings I think in the history of film right there. I do. I hate the ending to this movie so bad. Even as a kid, I hated it. I was traumatized enough that I remembered it, I think, Heather.
Yeah, I must have just tuned it out because I don't remember being traumatized by the end. I just remember having to watch it. And I'm assuming I had to watch it because my brother would put it on. And that's the only explanation that I can think of, that it would appear on the television. Or it was on HBO and we just wanted to watch HBO. I don't know.
I'm pretty traumatized by it. I had never seen it before. That ending was traumatizing. It was bad.
I didn't watch the ending, but I looked it up, and you know what? I'm all for it. So,
my thought is, so this 8-year-old kid, he loses his parents. They just zap, they're gone. They touch some burnt toast in a toaster that's obviously evil. And why are they obsessed with appliances? I don't know. I don't get that either.
That's commentary. That's the commentary.
They're obsessed with appliances, and then they touch this goo, and then they just poof, you're gone. And now this little boy has lost both of his parents. And my thought was, oh my goodness, does he have to pay the taxes and the town and the council tax? And it's England. Does this 8-year-old kid have to go live in an orphanage somewhere? Are there still orphanages? Like, that's my ADHD brain. Like,
didn't they turn into hermit crabs? Isn't that what you touch it? He says if you touch the evil, it'll turn you into hermit crabs. That's what the god says, the supreme being.
Well, he's lying then. They blow up at the end.
Well, I figured they turned into hermit crabs, but they just never showed them. They were on the ground. That's what I just assumed. I don't know.
I mean, is there any difference?
Wait a minute. Hermit crabs, and yes. I'm receiving flack about a Christmas tree?
I'm just reporting back. I'm just reporting facts, Courtney.
I'm just reiterating the facts that hermit crabs and Christmas tree are on the same plane.
Wait, I just have one thing I would like to add. Watching Sean Connery wear that wig, I had to look at that several times. I'm like, oh my goodness, that wig. When who is he? Agamemnon?
Yeah, Agamemnon.
Oh my goodness. It is hysterical. He's moving around and I just couldn't stop laughing. I'm like,
can we talk about how great this cast is, though? Not just Sean Connery, but Ian Holm, who is Bilbo Baggins, is in this movie. Plus, Shelley Duvall is in this movie, who was a huge movie star during that particular period of time. And then you have several of the Pythons in the film as well. And the Time Bandits themselves, a lot of those guys had been in other films and stuff. Kenny gosh, I can't remember his last name. Is of course
Baker.
R2D2.
Kenny Baker.
Yeah,
He was
Kenny
R2D2.
Baker's R2D2. But I mean, what a great cast. That was probably mostly squandered unless you're Patti. But I mean, I didn't rewatching it today. I was like, whoa, that's Bilbo as Napoleon. And it sort of blew my mind because it's been so long since I had seen this film, right? That I forgot how great those actors are and how many other things a lot of them had been in.
Yeah,
I didn't like that Napoleon was obsessed with short things and short people. I mean, I know he was not tall by modern standards, but he really wasn't that short at the end of the 18th century. He wasn't that short. So, you know, of all of the things that are sort of erroneous in time, that was the one thing that I went, ugh.
But he was working with little people. That's why he loved them. Everything has a purpose. I like you. I love you, Deborah G. I love you, Deborah G. We weirdos together.
There must have been more of you because it was popular. So you're not alone.
No.
Or
you are not alone.
There were just a lot of kids conned into watching this film because the back of Marvel Team Up lied to them about what was truly a children's film, and instead we got Time Bandits, which is still better. Yeah, it's still better than The Killing Tree.
Older than little kids. I watched it into like teens and early 20s and getting high stuff, and still got it. I think.
You know what? I just realized that I think my memories may be confusing this with a movie called Ice Pirates, and I think that. Does anyone recall a movie called Ice Pirates that came out at around the same time? And
oh yeah.
I think I'm confusing that because I know I saw that too. So I don't know which. It's all jumbling together. Time Bandits, Ice Pirates.
Can I just for like 1 second, Ice Pirates?
Yeah, Ice Pirates. Look it up,
Okay.
Courtney. It's gotta be from the same period of time, I'm guessing. So I don't remember it, so I'm going to have to like jog my memory and rewatch that. Jason saying don't do it. Don't do Ice
Danger, Will Robinson, danger. No, don't rewatch Ice Pirates.
It just came to me. I think my little person brain just merged the two movies. Ice Pirates and Time Bandits became the same thing back in the day for me.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is space pirates who, in a distant future, scarce of water. Space pirates get caught after stealing ice from a spaceship. They are sold to a princess looking for her dad. How is that?
See, I don't know. I watched a lot of sci-fi movie when I was a kid, so
everyone knows the best sci-fi movie of this period is The Last Starfighter. I mean, that's just fact.
And
that's fact.
Yes.
I'm in it.
Well,
you're in The Last Starfighter.
That was my favorite.
Alien and Aliens, sorry. And Blade Runner. Come on.
Death Blossom. Last Starfighter. Death Blossom.
Last Starfighter fits in within this category of films, though. Even though it's a sci-fi movie, it fits in with the whole, hero's journey and the young boy's adventure film and all that stuff. It fits
Wish fulfillment.
Dragon Slayer, another one.
Yeah, I was one of the crew people in the uniform for most of the filming. I don't know if
which film,
huh?
Of which film?
Last
Time Bandits?
No, Last Starfighter. Last Starfighter was one of my very first Hollywood gigs, and I was in uniform, running around the halls and being an extra.
Wow,
that's cool.
That's so cool.
That's super cool. As good as that movie may be, it's not the best science fiction movie from this period of time, Jason. I'm sorry. I'd have to just say that Alien and Aliens and Blade Runner came out at this time. And
for a kid, I'm talking about as a kid at the time. Like my parents aren't letting me watch Blade Runner. At
Empire Strikes Back. Empire Strikes Back.
There it is.
Empire's great.
I didn't watch any of those. But I still to this day, one of my favorite films is another Terry Gilliam film, Adventures of Baron Munchausen because I loved the book, and the movie it missed some things, but it was a beautiful visual representation of the book.
Yes.
And it's on our list.
Yay!
Favorite. I mean, I'll vote for that one right now. That's like up here.
If I was going to say my favorite Terry Gilliam, it's going to, as much as I do love the Monty Python Life of Brian as my favorite of the Monty Python versions, although Life of Brian, I don't believe he directed. I loved Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and Fisher King and 12 Monkeys. So those are going to be, those later films of his are just, I'll take those over any of these other ones. As much as I love watching Monty Python and some of the sketches, it's the Dead Parrot sketch is my favorite, actually. but yeah, those I'll have to watch Baron Munchausen again, and we will, and see.
Brilliant.
Brazil, I remember watching Brazil and just being confused.
Yeah.
I was confused by Brazil, though I love the facelift stuff that still hides in my yeah.
All
right.
Your dreams.
Yeah. Moving on. Quotes. Do we have any quotes, Miss Courtney?
Oh, we do.
A warning for Jason.
Don't show any enthusiasm, Courtney.
I have none. There's no. This movie has taken enough of me that I cannot give it anything else. But there is, most of these are quotes from Evil because he was my favorite. I have one from there was an exchange between Robin Hood and Randall, and Robin Hood said, "The poor are going to be absolutely thrilled. Have you met them at all?" And Randall said, "Who?" And Robin Hood said, "The poor." And Randall said, "The poor?" And Robin Hood said, "Oh, you must meet them. I'm sure you'll like them. Of course, they haven't got 2 pennies to rub together, but that's because they're poor."
That was a very Monty Python-esque joke.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of that. Then this is actually all, I think, one like interrupted monologue, but Evil said, "When I have the map, I will be free and the world will be different because I have understanding." And Robert said, "Understanding of what, master?" And Evil said, "Digital watches. And soon I shall have an understanding of video cassette recorders and car telephones. And when I have an understanding of them, I shall have an understanding of computers. And when I have an understanding of computers, I shall be the supreme being." And then he said, "God isn't interested in technology. He cares nothing for the microchip or the Silicon Revolution. Look how he spends his time. 43 species of parrots, nipples for men." And Robert says, "Slugs?" And Evil says, "Slugs! He created slugs. They can't hear. They can't speak. They can't operate machinery. Are we not in the hands of a lunatic?" And then he said, "If I were creating the world, I wouldn't mess about with butterflies and daffodils. I would have started with lasers, 8 o'clock, day one."
That's the commentary from Terry Gilliam about the world right there.
Yeah.
And what's not to love?
I did love that. I loved that part. I thought it was funny. And then I wrote in all capital letters, "Why are they on the Titanic?" And then Evil said, and this was probably my favorite. Evil said, "Suddenly I feel very, very good." And Benson said, "I'm sorry, master." And Evil said, "It'll pass." And I thought that was great. And then there was my notes about the cacophony of noise, and I had to turn it off. So those are my quotes.
Well, I just want to say about that one quote, one of the big points of this movie, as lost as it may have gotten in everything, is the parents' obsession with technology and gadgets and stuff. And they are so attentive, they don't pay attention to their child who loves history. And then, you see that the evil character, he is saying that I can control the people and be evil, but with this technology, forget about the natural stuff. It has no purpose. I'm just going to go straight to that. That's Terry Gilliam's. That is what you see in Terry Gilliam's commentary throughout all of his movies. And it might have gotten a little bit overshadowed here, but that's
oddly enough,
very good message within his crazy imagination.
that is the one thing that I understood from the movie. Like, and I thought it was good. Like, in the beginning, when the parents were, like, not only just obsessing about the technology, but about who had what technology.
Yeah.
And why can't we have that technology? And that, like, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then ignore your kid. Nice. Like, I love that. So that's why the ending, and again, I didn't visually see it with my eyes because my eyes had been assaulted enough, but I looked it up afterwards. And the ending to me seemed fine. Like, that seemed just fine to me.
Well, and I think it's important, and just on a nerdy film note, is that was a message that was coming through a lot of films at the time, is because people were becoming fearful of this over technology. And what if humans become robots? Think eventually we have Terminator, Videodrome came out in, I think, the late 70s. It's this kind of merger of how are we going to live with the technology? So that message was very, very current and on point in the late 70s and early 80s.
And look at it now in 2024,
Right?
with AI and technology. And he was 40 years ahead going, yeah, this is happening. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True.
Yep. My eyes have been assaulted enough. Okay. Well, I almost hate to go here, but Jason, do you have any movie minute? Yeah?
I do. I didn't
I'm
really
gonna
know.
Preemptively mute. I'm going to preemptively mute.
I love it when you laugh because it makes me feel like the jokes are working. So stay on, Courtney.
I feel like I'm going to laugh too much.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. So here we go. All right. This is the movie minute, or like 3 minutes, whatever they are. Time Bandits. A movie whose plot could not be adequately described by any living human being. Immortal deity, Richard-Lael, or long-lived member of the fairy folk. Short demigods and or angels jump through time with an 8-year-old boy in order to steal priceless artifacts that, other than the Mona Lisa, don't really seem all that interesting. I think I summed it up. I don't know. Time Bandits. My introduction to the Greek hero, Agamemnon. Greek hero, Agamemnon, legendary king of Argos and leader of the Greeks during the Trojan War. And yet the Greek Agamemnon looks and sounds like James Bond. And why is Agamemnon reincarnated as a firefighter in the early 80s? Clearly it's Agamemnon because he keeps winking at Kevin, the little boy in the movie. Speaking of Kevin, the actor who played him, Craig Warnock, went on to do nothing in Hollywood. I'm guessing he was far too scarred from the English king Agamemnon. Also, Theseus fights the Minotaur, not Agamemnon. As a child, this confused me, and I'm still not over it. Daddy, is James Bond Theseus? Stop talking, Jason. Time Bandits. Proving once and for all that the most annoying things in life are modern kitchen appliances. Toaster ovens? Get that crap out of here. 10-speed blender? Blend this, bucko. Microwaves? What the hell is a microwave, and who would want one? Oh, and those of you in 2024 think you are exempt? Go throw your Instapot in the garbage, like right now. Seriously, right now. Eternity might be on the line. Time Bandits. The reason I got an F on a history assignment in the 4th grade. I just assumed that Napoleon really liked puppets. Turns out all of that is garbage and is totally not true. F you, Terry Gilliam. Why else would anyone make up such a colossal lie for their movie? Children all over the world were counting on you, and you screwed us over, Gilliam. Little things hitting each other. That's what I like. No, it's not what he liked. And I had to do a bunch of extra credit over Christmas break in order to bring up my grades. I will never get over this, Terry Gilliam. Time Bandits. Yes, the supreme being had to be an old Englishman. Isn't that always the way of it? And of course, he's kind of a jerk. I was just playing a game and you were my pawns. Ha 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 ha. Oh yes, why is there evil? Something to do with freedom of choice. This is the only thing I remember from this movie as a child, other than James Bond, olive oil, Napoleon liking puppets, and Robin Hood somehow not being a fox. What kind of supreme being doesn't have his Robin Hood be a fox? Time Bandits. Hey, look, it's concentrated in evil, and it just killed your parents. But I mean, they are only your parents, so let's just have everyone around you who witnessed their deaths just ignore it, nor check on you in any manner whatsoever, and just leave you standing alone outside in your pajamas in front of your burned down home. Makes complete sense to me. Nightmare-inducing. I tell you, nightmare-inducing. Time Bandits. Are we sure this is a kids' movie?
Can we follow up by the most frightening thing of all that you're going to have to follow up, Jason, on is apparently, I can't remember which ABC, NBC, one of them is looking to do Time Bandits 2, the series.
Yay!
So,
Time
Terry,
Bandits 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Terry Gilliam has been trying to get it done, but it hasn't happened. And apparently, I don't know if it's an April Fool's joke or what, but I read in one of the articles.
That's just not going to happen.
Well, I saw Lisa Kudrow is signed up to be in it. I don't know if this is all fact or fiction or internet garbage, but I read it in one of the articles that they are trying to do it. So will it happen? I don't know. Is it garbage? I don't know. It's hard to tell with some of
The
stuff.
scary thing is, Heather, is that when we speak things as witches, they come to fruition. So even if this is true and you know it, you should not share it or speak it out loud ever.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Patty's mantra tonight as she goes to sleep will be Time Bandits TV show. Time Bandits TV show. Time Bandits TV show.
Sequel, the TV show.
I did read that Terry Gilliam wants Johnny Depp to play Satan. I'm not going to say anything about that.
Is that the show? Is that the movie he's working on right now? That's like coming out. What's it called? Something Carnival something.
I didn't read the article. I didn't read the article.
You just saw it. Yeah, I think it's he's working on a project that's some Carnival at the end of the time or Carnival at the end of the world or something. I saw that, and that might be what it's for. He's already worked with him once, at least. I'm okay with that, but Time Bandits 2, not so much.
Bigger.
Patty is very powerful.
Oh my gods. So production on the TV series took place in New Zealand in late 2022 and early 2023.
There you go. Didn't make it up. See, I'm not a liar.
Oh.
Yay.
And Lisa Kudrow, I think Lisa Kudrow's in it.
Yay.
Yeah, it's all been cast. It has all been cast.
Okay.
Exciting.
We have things to look forward to in this crazy planet. All right, grab your wands, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody. We want you guys in the chat room to wands up, wands down. Time Bandits 1981. Wands up, wands down.
Richard-Lael, what are you doing?
I'm looking for a plot line. I'm looking for a reason to like this film.
Okay, I'm up. Heather's a down. Richard-Lael's looking. Jason's in the middle, and Courtney doesn't have a wand. Wait.
Oh, my wand is here. It's on the floor. My wand is on the floor.
Way down in Hades Town.
Down with it. Okay, you guys, somebody stick up for me in the chat room. Wands up. Yes, Tabitha.
Down with their Titanic, Alicia said.
I love the Titanic. And I loved all their outfit changes as they went through time and space. We didn't even discuss that.
How they understood every foreign language that was thrown at them. Right?
They worked for the Supreme Being. They made plants and trees.
They made one tree that was 600 feet tall, red, and smelled really bad.
Yeah.
Isn't that what
not as successful?
Broke the holes?
Yes.
So down, 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 halfway up, and up. But my up counts much more than any of yours.
Oh, holy crap.
It's a pretty one.
We need that on a t-shirt. My up
one
counts more than any of yours, Patti Negri.
All right, you guys. So, okay. The map thing was cool. Yes, the map thing was cool. We all need a map to see through time and space.
Heather and Courtney have 2 wands now. So
I have 3. And it's not humorous. It's not humorous at all.
I'm going to grab every... Box Vincent. Wand.
The War of the Wands begins.
Okay. Bell. Bell. Other bell. Pen. Writing
Hold
pen.
Wait a minute.
Cell phone. Okay. All right. Next week. What are we seeing next week? We have to watch our movie.
We are seeing You Are Not Alone. You Won't Be Alone. You Won't Be Alone. It's a horror movie.
Oh,
Totally
finally.
You won't be alone, except for Courtney will be scared and alone.
How dare you?
It's true.
This is a full-on horror movie. Modern. I think it was in 2022.
2022. I don't know. So there's only one. So do we know where we can see it? Or people could just find it.
You can rent it on Amazon. I looked it up earlier.
Okay. All right, you guys. So we have a couple of minutes left. So everybody, what do you have coming up? I will start this time just because I'm leaving next week. Anybody in or wants to be in Arizona, I'm going to be kind of doing all sorts of amazing, fun, spooky things in Globe, Arizona at the Globe Hotel. Globe Theater. It's an old theater, haunted theater in an old mining town in the middle of nowhere, Arizona. So you guys should join me there. And then be making sure your passport is in shape to my Witches and Vampires tour of Transylvania. And I just had Dacre Stoker on my show, and he told us everywhere we're going is all the perfect places to go. So if you've ever thought about going to Romania, Transylvania, castles galore, contact me if you can't find where to do it. I've got all sorts of stuff coming up that I can't even remember in my tiny little brain, but just go to pattinegri.com, follow me, like me, and join me all over the globe. All right. Who wants to go next, Jason?
All right. Next weekend, I will be at the Pagan Unity Festival in Tennessee, somewhere between Nashville and Memphis. So that's coming up. That's it. That's all the shit that's all the stuff that's coming up. Oh, my new album dropped. Fivefold Kiss, which you can stream on all streaming services. It is my salute to hair metal and witchcraft. So pick that up.
Thank you. Beautiful. All right. Courtney.
That's me. I am going to be on a podcast on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It is called the Compass of Curiosities podcast. You can tune in on Facebook. It'll be Facebook Live and hang out with me there. Also, I'm going to have a very busy week because, as I've learned tonight, there's a lot of hexing that I have to do.
Goodbye, you guys. I'm going to be hexed.
Not you, Patti, not you, but Rob for sure better sleep with one eye open. And if I have anything to say about it, there will not be a Time Bandits 2.
It's too late. It's coming.
No, the film can light on fire still, and I will work on that. So
it's not even film anymore. It's all digital.
The digital files can be corrupted, and I will be corrupting this week.
All right. And while you're there, Miss Courtney.
That was me.
You have stuff coming up?
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm on a podcast. I'm
sorry. I went through time. There was a little doorway. I just fell through it.
Patty watched too much of this movie.
On the Titanic. I came back.
Not the Titanic.
Richard-Lael.
I will be. You can catch me at University of Magicus. I'll be teaching this week on blood magic on Saturday. I do readings here in New Orleans. I do them online. I do them here. You can find me at thegentlemanpsychic.com. I'm a little bit of everywhere. I'm really easy to find. Here's some of my artwork. Scared and Alone. A lot of great stuff. A lot of fun. Also Scared and Alone. I'll be there. I guess we have something on Friday night. I don't know, Courtney. I don't know. Do we? I don't know.
I just show up where I'm told to show up. I don't have anything. I don't know anything in advance.
Okay. Watch Courtney be terrified while she watches Time Bandits this Friday on Scared and Alone.
Time Bandits 2.
No, not if I have anything to say about it.
Alone in the dark. All right, and Miss Heather.
Hi, I am going to. Let me start with this. The exciting news: Mystic South, July, end of July in Atlanta. I just got my doll and magic. Let's see, haunted dolls and magical puppets. for the Love and Fear of Dolls. Just got accepted. I'm going to be doing that presentation, and I'll be having some of my dolls. I just got a new 120-year-old leather body doll that I need to clean up, and she'll probably accompany me. Yeah, Courtney, you haven't even seen her yet. You're already waving her
You
off.
said leather bodied, and I'm out. Goodbye. I'm turning my. If I had a light to turn off, I would.
She's
wanna go-
fantastic.
I want to
She's
go to
beautiful.
Mystic's house just to see that. See you.
Yeah, well, it's going to be
Thank
super
you.
fun. I'm going to have dolls. We're going to talk
Courtney.
about puppets. Are you turning lights off, Richard-Lael?
Only for Courtney.
Oh,
I just-
okay. Thank
I
you.
honestly love dolls. But
and
that
then
was
we'll-
for
as
Courtney.
as we get closer, I'll talk about Charlotte, which is a Wizard of Oz conference in Charlotte this year, which is super exciting, but that's not until September. But otherwise, I'm going to be right here. You can find me at heathergreene.net, and I'm on all the socials. Please reach out. Tell me what movies you love. And I love talking movies and hearing about all the movies you love too. So that's what I'm up to. Just working with my authors, hanging out in Atlanta.
All right. Well, on that note, and I am teaching a past life regression class tomorrow. If you want to journey with me, University Magicus. Courtney, I'll send you the link if you want. Let me know.
Can you sign up for just one class? That's a question I've been meaning to ask.
Yeah,
Can you just do
I'll
one class?
I'll send it to you, but we have to remind me because I won't remember in 10 minutes. I'll send it to you so you can watch it afterwards.
Time slips.
Do that.
Magic dwarves.
Yes, and Magic Dwarves. We'll go time travel. See, it all fits with the movie. But we are 1 minute over, and I don't like to go over, so we have one more thing to do. And since we can't time travel, which is 1, 2, 3.